So we really want to immediately, just out the gate, show you the face of the enemy, show you why the enemy is so bad and it must be stopped, and then give you that context as to why you, the last great hero of Azeroth, must step up. When you come through the Dark Portal, the first thing you're gonna see is 10,000 Iron Horde. These orcs that have been streaming through the portal for the weeks coming up to the expansion's release, now you know where they come from, and it's your job to stop them. And so this becomes a frantic, frenetic 45-minute play experience where players are doing everything they can to turn the Dark Portal off just so Azeroth can be saved, you know, in spite of everything. And while they're doing this, they're going from different location to location at the start of what will become Hellfire Peninsula 1A, but Tanan, and facing each of these warlords in some context. I'm Alex Afrasiabi. I'm creative director on World of Warcraft. So that's really, I mean, the idea came about more of just kind of a freeform of, we want to do this thing. We want to get these chieftains out into our game. We want to let players experience their ferocity, their savagery. Like, this is what the orcs are about, guys. Like, this is their home world. This is Draenor. On Draenor, it's insane. This is how they survive the brutality of this planet, and it started to kind of just snowball after that. I think by the time we were done, we all left the room buzzing pretty hard. I think we were. This feels like a good, epic experience that I think our fans are going to really enjoy. What if we could do this? These enemies that are hugely part of Warcraft history that our players just have never seen, most of them anyway, because they haven't played the RTS games. But they were so fearsome and so cool, and boy, we could do them cooler now with what we have, you know, in our world. And that started the conversation, and it started also springboarded a bit off of what would become of Garrosh. You know, Garrosh is always an interesting character in terms of, I remember when we were making him back in Burning Crusade, and I was sitting with Chris Metzen, and we were just kind of talking about where he would go, and I said, Garrosh can either be the greatest savior or the greatest villain that we've ever seen, and we know which route that went. But interestingly enough, I feel like when Garrosh went back to Draenor, he still thinks he's the great savior, you know. So in his mind, I think he thinks that. In reality, he's kind of a big jerk. He wants to show the world the might of what a united orc front could do. The enemy in Warlords is the Iron Horde. They are led by Grommash Hellscream, and under him are the other chieftains of the Iron Horde. That guy behind me, if you could see, Black Hand, Kilrog Deadeye, Ner'zhul for a short time. These war chiefs all have their own pieces, armies, if you will, that they are adding to this massive, unstoppable force that is the Iron Horde. With them come different skill sets and different things that they bring to the table. On top of that, we've got the ogres conscripted by the Iron Horde now too. So the ancient Highmaul ogre civilization, the last great ogre empire, is now working for them as well. So they've got a sorceress wing in their midst. This is the enemy in total. And then when I talk about gameplay, I mean, again, like one of the huge features we're doing for this expansion, aside from the stuff that you normally get in an expansion, is garrisons. We're going through great efforts to make sure that the garrisons aren't just aesthetic, aren't just things that you build that are cool to look at, but that they have real function. when you get followers to come to your garrison, again, a little bit of your own identity is reflected in who you've chosen, because that is a choice we allow you to make. Each player gets their own garrison, and they build it up. It's territory, it's land, in either Shadowmoon for the Alliance or Frostfire for the Horde. They are able to add different types of buildings, some profession-based, some just different, function-based, like barracks and mage towers and things like that. But like I said, it's a new thing. It'll change the pacing of things a bit, but I think in such a good, positive way. I think players will kind of perk up because they really have something that is beyond items and power progression that they're going to care about, and that they can grow over time. And I feel like it's a really beefy, cool feature in that regard. At ship, we will not allow flying in the expansion at all. We really more want to feel it out, because again, we feel like flying is fun, it's cool. It lets you traverse great space in short time, but it does shrink the world. And we really want to feel out how the players react, you know? And so far we feel like what we've seen is that it's, you know, it's 50-50 almost. If, I don't know, I think it'd be cool, and oh my God, no. And we want the players to give it a chance, because I actually feel like we can learn from this in that, is there a world where we have no flying, but people love it? You know, like, is that a possibility? I believe it is. I believe it's totally a possibility. The engine's gotten better over time. We've been able to do better, cooler things in the world, but the character models have stayed the same for so long, and it just became time, and now we're firing on that, and it's phenomenal. And then on top of that, I feel like Draenor as an expansion brings the heart of Warcraft, just kind of beating and explodes it. You know, it's all Warcraft. It's all testosterone. It's high octane, and I think a lot of the features that we see within it are going to blow people away, especially garrisons. I feel like that is one where the way the game plays is going to feel new. I think it's going to feel different to people, where they're going to be surprised. I think World of Warcraft remains so popular for a number of reasons. I mean, it's so hugely accessible. It is based on a social foundation. I mean, it's a game where you interact with other people, and you're forced to interact with them to some degree. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's something that people want. So it's a fun game. I mean, it's a game that after all of these years, it's easy to get into, and it has so much depth to it though. And that's the type of game that it is. I feel like it's this accessible social game. It's not, the atmosphere is light. The art style is, to me, timeless. Honestly, even after all these years, like, it's beautiful. It just gets better and better looking. It's something that I think it's a game that we can support forever, you know, and so that's why. I think that's why.